Okay, so it's Friday morning. On Wednesday night, which was technically Thursday morning, so it was after midnight. So yesterday morning, I finished Worm Arc 2. I haven't started Arc 3 yet. I kind of said to myself, there were a couple times I was like, I'm driving right now. I could go ahead and start Arc 3. Let me just wait. Let me get my Part 2 video out. Because I don't want to get super behind with these because I can kind of tell if I get behind early, I'm just gonna fuck everything up. Or especially now when I feel like the videos are gonna be shorter. When I get to some of these longer arcs, I can only imagine, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of fucking shit to talk about, and it might be a while before I move on to the next one, but it might be a nice way to make sure I'm able to digest the book. They're called arcs, but I'm probably just gonna be calling them books. Maybe it is supposed to be that no, Worm is just one giant book, and then this is, I guess so. But even then, I'm like, these. I guess one of my problems so far, and I feel like it's the one genuine problem I have. The others are just more of maybe kind of curiosities, I guess. Is I don't know how much this feels like two separate arcs. They kind of just feel like we're still in the early exposition-y part of the story. Now, I will say part 1 does have a climax with the fight against Lung. But it's not even like a story where it's like, okay, the arc is bullied girl gets power, bullied girl is figuring out what to do with her power, letting it develop, taking notes on it, then I'm going to become a superhero, let me get my costume, let me get my name, let me go start fighting crime, and then gets overwhelmed, realizes how in over her head she is, but then ends up making some friends and has a decision to make. What actually happens is, yeah, by the way, I already have my powers. I know exactly how my powers work. I'm basically done with my costume. School life sucks, but now I'm about to do this, which I think is fine. Like, I don't mind kind of skipping over those other elements. I don't mind the in medias res, but it doesn't feel like I read a whole arc. I liked it, but I feel like that's also the thing. But it's like, that's why I don't know if it's that the pacing feels weird. It just feels like I don't feel like I read a whole book. And with part 2 doesn't even have a climax. I guess the fight against Rachel, the skirmish against Rachel, which I'm still very confused as to why it even happens. I guess she was just mad that Taylor was there. And again, that's one of those where I say this isn't a criticism. It's just more of a, at least at this point, it's just more of a curiosity. Like, okay, why did you do that? Is it because, hey, I voted no, and the fact that I was outruled, I'm in a bad mood? Does she just have really violent mood swings? I don't remember if that was something that was in her report on the wiki, because of course there's a superhero wiki. There's a cape wiki. I liked that. That whole scene of her just doing research on people, I thought was really fucking neat. Something that hasn't been said, but I just kind of thought about at one point, is Gru. Because Gru, when I first hear the name, because I'm not reading it, I'm listening to it, I'm like, okay, G-R-U? So I made a joke in the last one. I was like, is he trying to fucking steal the moon? I don't know, because I think of Despicable Me. I'm like, well, Gru, maybe it's like G-R-E-W? Like, I don't know, is he like super tall? He could darkness generate. I don't know, maybe he can grow darkness? And then at some point, my brain was like, Gru, darkness, Zork. It's like, it's completely dark. You've been eaten by a Gru. Oh, it might be spelled G-R-U-E then. I get it. Oh, that's really fun. Like that, his name has not been explained yet, but I'm like, that has to be where his name comes from. That's really neat. Aside from that, sorry, kind of getting ahead of myself because I was like, that's a neat thing. I want to go ahead and bring it up. I don't really know why Rachel attacked. I will reserve judgment on that. The other two things I want to reserve judgment on for the moment are Mr. Gladly and Emma. And that sounds really, really bad given the context of the shit that... the shit that Emma has done and what Mr. Gladly hasn't done, but I want to explain my mindset on it. Taylor has been getting viciously bullied, and she does not deserve what is happening to her. Mr. Gladly talks to her after class and says, "Look, kiddo, I'm not stupid. I can tell that something is going on in my classroom. I can tell, hey, bub, I can tell that you're not okay. And we all know about the incident," which they still haven't said exactly what happened, but I am assuming that whatever it was, this is why Taylor has her powers. I believe that, because I said I have a friend that got me into it. I think what he told me is that whatever a triggering event is will relate to the powers. I don't remember if he told me specifically what Taylor's was. I think it was like she was locked in like a porta potty or some shit that was full of bugs, or she was like shoved in a locker and it was full of bugs. I think it was something like that. I don't know the specifics yet. But because of that, I'm like, okay, I believe whatever the incident was involved bugs, which means Rachel was probably attacked by a giant dog. Brian, I think that was his name. I was like, am I hearing Ryan? Am I hearing Brian? Am I hearing Bryant? But I think it's Brian. Brian, I believe, was probably like locked in the dark somewhere, was probably kept alone, which is why it's not darkness generation. It's more of just this veil of advanced darkness. Lisa, no, fuck damn it. The scene where Lisa's kind of explaining how her powers work, and she's like, yeah, like, I just kind of know things. I know everything. My Monogatari brain is going, I know everything. There's nothing that I don't know. And I'm like, oh, that's a ton of fun. That's great. Also, Taylor's like, I'm going to keep secrets from you and my motives from you. Your power's a problem. I was like, yeah, that's kind of another one of those. It's not a criticism at this point, but it is a curiosity. How exactly does Lisa's power work? Because she says, she's like, yeah, like my power will sometimes just tell me things so I know it's correct. For example, my power told me you're in the library, so I know you're in the library. My power told me there's a cape coming, so I knew there was one coming. It doesn't sound like she has to ask for that information. She's not like, hey, magic ability, how does this work? And then she learns it. It will just tell her, or maybe it is that she has to ask for it and then it will tell her. And it does just kind of make me wonder, why is her power not telling her that Taylor is trying to be a mole? Is it because wherever she gets this information from, God, whatever cosmic force there is, I don't know, is kind of because whatever she... I'm getting very tongue-tied trying to say this. Sorry. Wherever her power comes from, wherever that information is stored, knows Taylor is not going to betray them. So it's essentially saying, Lisa, you don't need to know this. Because if you know this, you won't let her in, but you need to let her in. Don't worry, she's okay. Is it because Lisa hasn't asked about Taylor's motives? Which I feel like is something she would. At the very least, if, she and her friends are like, maybe we should recruit this person. You think she would maybe ask her power, hey, power, can I trust them? And maybe the power did say yes, knowing that Taylor's going to be Gucci. I don't know how it works. So I don't know if this is a plot hole or if this is like, no, this makes perfect fucking sense. You just got to wait for it. So that's one of those. And then, Regent is the dude who can fuck with people's nervous systems, which I think is just really neat. But anyway, sorry, but I was talking about Mr. Gladly and Emma. Taylor is getting horrifically bullied. Oh yeah, no, that's right, because I was talking about triggering events. I'm assuming Lisa's is like a deep, dark secret of hers got leaked, and so now she can learn information in other people's secrets. With Regent, I don't know, maybe he was like paralyzed at some point. Like maybe something shitty happened to his nerves, and my assumption would be some form of paralysis, and then he was able to overcome it, probably through rehab, or maybe someone healed him like Panacea, and now he can do this. Anyways, now, for sure, Gladly and Emma, let's not get distracted. Pin. Ugh. I don't know why I did that. I think I was trying to help myself up with the pins, like fucking plankton in the onion rings and the fried capes. Again, I'm one for the fucking JJNW bingo of a random SpongeBob reference. Gladly tells he's telling Taylor, I know you've been bullied. My offer still stands. The offer being, you can come with me to the principal and we can talk about this to the principal, to the vice principal. You can give us names and any other information you have. I will do that with you right fucking now. And Taylor's response to this is, it's not gonna help, so no. And she's like, well, are they gonna get expelled? No. Unfortunately, that's generally not something that happens unless we have evidence of it being... I don't remember exactly how it's said, but essentially it's like, if they've gotten to the point where the shit they've done is so fucking heinous, we can expel them. If not, suspension, and that would probably only be for a few days. And for Taylor, she's like, then it's not going to fix my problem. If anything, it might make it worse because I'm now seen as the rat. So A, it's not like, man, I'm so worried about my social standing. It's if I'm seen as a rat, other people are going to get more involved because they're going to look like the good girls because they're the popular kids. No one's going to take my word over theirs. And Emma has 6 other people. I don't remember the exact number, but it's like there's 6 other people there who are all going to corroborate each other's stories. So I look like a liar because it's all of their words against mine, and it's the quality of their word and the quantity of their word. At best, they're suspended for a few days, so I get a reprieve from them. I get fucked over by everyone else. And then when they come back, because I was the rat and I went to the fucking school, they're going to come at me even harder. This is a waste of my time. No. And there's a part of me that says, I understand her line of reasoning, but there's also that sense of things can't get better unless you do something about it. And I fully understand her saying I can't use my powers because I don't trust myself enough. She's like, I could give them all lice and it would make me happy, but I don't know if I would stop there. And I don't want to start going down the slippery slope. And I love that. I genuinely love her having that amount of self-awareness to go, ugh, I don't know where it stops, and I'm not comfortable with the fact that I don't know. But there's also that sense of, I get that you don't want to make your situation worse, but you're also not making it better. It's not saying that I don't sympathize with her. I do. But it is just one of those, like, I kind of feel bad for the teacher there. It's like, I want to be able to help you, but you're not letting me help you, so there's nothing I can do. But then, right after, she starts getting... There's a whole gaggle of girls right outside that force... It sounds like they didn't really put their hands on her, but they all just kind of gathered, put her in a corner, and started talking about her to each other right in front of her, further dehumanizing her, not just with what they say, but the fact that they're not even addressing her directly, which is really fucked up. And as this is going on, Mr. Gladly comes out, sees it happen, looks at Taylor, who looks at him, and then he walks off. And me looking and like listening to this, I'm going, okay, is he that much of an asshole? It's like, so is that like when he's talking to Taylor earlier, like, hey, do you want me to go with you? Is that just him covering his ass? Like Taylor says, like, was he just doing that because he has to as a teacher and he has no intention of helping me? Did he do that because he knew I would say no? He's seeing this happen. Is this him completely giving up on me and he's not going to help? But my brain is also going, is it possible he saw, like, he walked by, saw what was going on, and then went to the principal? Because that could happen. It's like, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt at this point. Because to me, him saying, hey, I want to be able to help you, let's do something, seemed genuine. Because Taylor immediately left after that. She doesn't know what happened the rest of the day. To me, there's a non-zero chance. Mr. G, sorry, I'm not saying his name right. Mr. G went to the principal and was like, I saw what was going on. This girl was getting bullied by XYZ ABC. We need to do something about it. So when Taylor goes back to school the next day, actually, maybe that's why it's different arcs, because each arc is a different day. Because I think that's it. Because all of arc 1 was one day. I think all of arc 2 was one day. So I'm assuming that okay, so I guess in that case, unless there's a time skip, or unless, some of the later books get a lot, or arcs get a lot longer because it's multiple days, it's possible that all of Worm, if it's 31 arcs, it just takes place over the course of 31 days. It all takes place in a month. Okay, that's my theory then. And if that's the case, I feel like it kind of fixes the issues of, like, this doesn't really feel like I read a whole book, or like book 2 doesn't really have a climax. Like, there's a skirmish with Rachel, but nothing really like crazy happens. If that's why, I kind of fuck with that. I think that's kind of neat. Fuck. I said, I was like, I'm not gonna get sidetracked from Gladly and Emma, and I just did because I had a fucking realization. But anyway, since Taylor didn't go to school, because that's going to be the next book, is the next day, it's possible Gladly did something about it. He's like, Taylor's not going to... Now, it is kind of shitty, though, if he's like, I'm not going to stop this. But maybe that's what... I don't know. Maybe there's, like, cameras. He's like, I have to go to the principal now, and, like, I can show him on the camera. I don't know. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I guess I'll see tomorrow. I mean, I'll probably start book 3 today. But, like, tomorrow in Worm World, blah, 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 blah. Which she still doesn't have her name, by the way. Like, I don't know when she starts calling herself Worm. I don't know what day. Maybe it'll be a week. Because I think I had heard something like, it's... stick around till arc 7? Because I guess most people agree, like, that's when it gets really good, or it's like the shit right after that is really good. It's like, yeah, stay with it for the first week of the plot. The shit gets crazy. But then we get to Emma, who is the ringleader behind all the bullying. And as Taylor says, she's quiet during the bullying. But there's this smile on her face. So it's not, it doesn't come across as, I'm a popular girl now, and I don't want to do this, but I'm really like, no, she's enjoying it. And then she parts the Red Sea, walks forward, and is like, Taylor, how does this make you feel, Taylor? Does it upset you so much that you just feel like you're going to cry yourself to sleep for the next week, like for a straight week? Which Taylor's narration then explains to us. Exposits, that's the word I wanted to use. That Taylor's mom did die. From the way book 1 was written, I thought she left, but she is dead. She died. Taylor spent a lot of time with Emma because that was her best friend. She found out about it when she was at Emma's house. Her dad was not taking it well and was essentially neglecting Taylor, so she spent more time with Emma, and then I think it was Emma's mom told Taylor's dad, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, go take care of your daughter. He went, oh, shit. You're right. And at some point, the two of them, Taylor and Emma, were having a conversation, and Emma's like, you're so resilient, Taylor. Like, just a week ago, I'm saying, like, so fucking much. That's another from my fucking bingo card. You're so resilient. Just a week ago, you could barely keep it together, but now... you're not crying when we're interacting. It feels like you're getting back to normal. And I'm happy to see you getting better. And I'm so proud of you. And Taylor telling her, I'm not resilient at all. I have spent the last week crying myself to sleep. It's easier during the day when I have a routine or when I'm interacting with people. But when I'm by myself, that's when it hits me. And back in the present, Taylor realizes Emma is saying this because she knows how deeply it hurts. And all the shit they were saying before, Taylor didn't give a shit. Like, I'm used to this. It sucks. I hate it, but what am I going to do? I just have to wait for them to stop. All right, call me this, call me this. Well, this thing conflicts with this thing, so you're not even making any sense. Are we done now? But that broke her, and that's what made her start to cry. And I listen to this, and I think to myself, that level of bitterness and hatred that Emma is showing Taylor, that doesn't come out of nowhere. For someone to be your best friend for years, all throughout childhood, to turn on you like that to me doesn't come across as just, yeah, I'm the popular girl, I kind of need to hang out with the popular crowd, and you're a nerd now, sorry, I kind of have to start bullying, and like, I kind of enjoy, like, it doesn't come across to me like that. This seems like it comes from somewhere specific. So as I'm listening to this, I'm thinking to myself, Taylor does not deserve any of what's happening to her. But what did she do? Because she had to have done something. So I texted my friend, as I'm thinking this, I'm like, okay, Emma is a fucking horrible person. Do not get me wrong. But I want to know, because I wasn't trying to say, like, I want to know the answer. I'm just kind of thinking, and maybe he interpreted that way, I'll talk about it in a second. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm really looking forward to figuring out what happened, if anything. Because either Emma is going to be one of the most interesting characters in the entire story, once I understand from her perspective what happened, her thought process, what the backstory is that Taylor isn't telling, either because it's so, like, whatever she did was so innocuous to her, it's not worth repeating or thinking about, or because it was so bad, she's like, I'm gonna pretend I didn't do that. And finding it out from Emma's perspective is going to be fascinating. Or there is nothing like that with Emma, and she's just awful. And she's going to keep being awful. And Taylor is going to snap and fucking kill her. I don't know if Taylor kills anybody in this story, intentionally or otherwise. Apparently, Lung is, how do I want to say this? There's a lot of good words. Castrated, emasculated. Do I want to use that, or do there was my brain, do I want to come up with a clever euphemism? Do I want to just outright say it? Do I want to use a fun word? Fuck it. Enough brown recluses bit his dick that he doesn't have a dick anymore. I don't know if it can heal because he has regeneration, or if he's just fucked. So Taylor, one fight in, has already done some fucked up shit. And on the one hand, I can't even be she did it on accident. You were sending brown recluses to bite his, how did she call him, his sensitive parts? Yeah, and that wasn't even in self-defense. She took the, initiative. They're like, no, that's pretty fucked up, Taylor. I can sympathize with you. I don't want you to get burned by this dude. But on the other hand, I'm if someone sent a bunch of bugs to bite my nuts off, I'd kind of want to set them on fire, too. The fuck? But to my point, I don't know how far she goes. I don't know if she kills anybody. I don't know if she kills Emma. And I don't want to know any of that. But I am thinking, Emma is either going to be the most sympathetic character somehow and is going to be fascinating, or she's just awful and she makes Taylor snap. Those aren't mutually exclusive. It is possible that from her perspective, she is super interesting. She is sympathetic, but she's gone too far. And then Taylor takes it too far. And from what I understand, that is the major theme of the story. I think I said this in the last video. It's something that's echoed in the interlude with, what was it, Glory Girl and Panacea. About some, I don't really what was her power? It was super strength, but it was more than that. Like, she could do cool shit with vibrations. And then her sister is, I can identify injured body parts and I can heal and repair them. And Glory Girl goes too far, nearly kills a dude. He's like, oh fuck, I almost killed a dude. I gotta call my sister. My sister can fix him. And the sister's response is, really? We're doing this again? You need to be more careful. I'll help you. This is the last time, because there are consequences to things. There are consequences of using your powers on people that don't have it. And that might be something that's reflective in Emma and Taylor. Taylor did something. The consequences of whatever that is, Emma got pissed. Emma took that out on Taylor. The consequences, Taylor now has superpowers. Taylor might, and then the consequences of that is she might fucking kill somebody. I don't know, but my friend was telling me, like, there is a point in the story where you do get some chapters from Emma's perspective. It sounds like it's later in the story, so I'm assuming she'll be around for a few days into the month. It made it sound like it's later into the month, so I'm guessing, like, I don't know, arc like 28 or something. I'm not 100 on that. Maybe when he's saying later on, it's arc 5, and you get a few chapters from her perspective, and then she gets by a fucking praying mantis, I guess. I don't know. Was there anything else I really wanted to say? I think that's it. Just in terms of plot, the Undersiders, who have now been name dropped, that is the name of the gang of teenagers, invited Taylor to join, told her, we've been trying to recruit people for a while, it hasn't been working, but here's the thing, if you join us, here's, what was the, I want to say it was 2,500, might have been 2,800. Here's a few grand up front. This is the minimum of what you will be getting. I don't remember if it was per month or per week. I think it was per month. This is the minimum you would be making per month if you helped us. There's not really a maximum. I don't remember what the range was. Like, here's the average range we get before we split it up. I think it was about 10 to 35K a month. We, like, when we do jobs, we do them successfully. Thanks, Lisa. And we make fucking bank when we do it. The general vibe that they have is that this is a group of teens. They like each other. They have good relationships. It seems they don't really care for Rachel that much. They're like, we've got a good vibe. So it doesn't seem like, yeah, we go and we fucking punt puppies into volcanoes. But maybe that's the thing. Taylor's motivation is, I want to join them so I can learn about this group, so I can share this information with Armsmaster, so I can be a good hero. I have to play a villain to be a hero, so we will see how far she has to go to play the part of the villain, and as she does so, how many bridges does she burn with the heroes? Is there a point of no return? But also, in a sense, how many bridges does she burn with herself? What lines does she cross? Does she truly become a, like, is she an anti-hero? Is she a full-on villain? We'll see. I think that's a really interesting hook for a story. So I am excited to read more. Like I had said, is like, I want to go ahead and record this so I can start reading more. That's all for this one. Arc 3, I think, is about 3 hours. I don't think I'm going to do all that today. Then again, Levi had said, what I really want to do is listen to Worm while I'm playing the endgame of Kuro 2, so I can have something to get invested in while mindlessly doing the bullshit in Kuro 2. So if I'm able to get that set up, if I have a really long session of Kuro 2, maybe we'll finish Arc 3. But that's all for now. I will see you later. I haven't watched Freyren yet. I'll probably watch that later this afternoon or this evening.